Nasri looks Rashad in!
Gabriel Martinelli jusqu'au bout. Oh, il a fait l'exploit de Gabriel Martinelli. Le coast to coast façon NBA pour relancer les Gunners.
Hello and welcome to
What?
I forgot what to say. Okay. Let's start again.
Still Nasri looks Rashad in!
Gabriel Martinelli jusqu'au bout. Oh, il a fait l'exploit de Gabriel Martinelli. Le coast to coast façon NBA pour relancer les Gunners.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Kenyan Guinness podcast with me, Omar Bashir and Ahmed Banafa. Ahmed, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Omar. How are you doing?
I am okay. I am doing okay. It's been a while.
It really has. How long has it been now? Just
It's
over 2
been
months?
84 years.
Yeah.
Something close to that at least.
Yeah, it really has been quite a while. How have we been doing recently? What do you think, just before we get into everything?
I think we've been doing okay.
Mhm.
And there was this joke going on between us that it's because we stopped recording. So for all the Arsenal fans out there, if we start losing,
You can blame us.
yes, we can take it.
Okay. I agree with you. We have been doing okay, and maybe it has been because we stopped recording, because the wins started coinciding with when we stopped, kind of. So yeah, let's hear your views on that, if any.
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. So I don't want to be in big trouble. I think we should just get back to recording, and whatever happens.
Yeah.
So
Right about that.
there's a lot to get into. Let's start with the game that happened recently. That was on Thursday evening, Europa League round of 32 tie, the glamorous round of 32 tie between Benfica and Arsenal. It was a very dull game. What do you think about it? I thought it was quite dull.
I wouldn't say dull per se. I would say there was a measure of like a European Cup tie kind of feel, like with both teams kind of cautious, not to make any mistakes, trying to pounce on the opposition's mistakes. And maybe because of the nature of that trying to play a cautious game, it might have seemed dull, but I don't think it was actually a dull game. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Well, I think you completely missed the sarcasm I was going for. But I felt that it was, how can I say this? I think what you've just described is how Benfica played. I don't think Arsenal played like that. I think what we've seen, especially the last couple of games, is a mixture of what Arsenal was and what Arsenal wants to become. In that we sort of are very trepidatious, are very slow and methodical, if I put it kindly, to how we play our football without actually producing anything in terms of chance creation and inadvertently goals. I feel that that is in somewhat a symptom of what we have been going through under Mikel Arteta in terms of chance creation. I think we've been quite poor. I think that's fair to say. Things have improved, of course, definitely, with the introduction of various players who will get into, and of course, change of system. But I think there's something that's just nagging me, that we don't seem to take control of games, to really, get hold of, the game by the scruff of the neck. I mean, Benfica weren't great. They weren't great. I don't. I watched them the last two games that we played them, and they were not a good team in any shape or form. I felt that they were there for the taking. The game could have been over in the first leg. We could have won that 4-5-0, but it was 1-1. And when the free kick they scored the free kick just before the end of the first half. We were like, oh man, okay, here we go again. So I feel that if I mean if we can be able to be courageous. There's this quote from Pep Guardiola. I know people don't like Pep Guardiola, but there's this quote I really like from him, from the Man City documentary. He said, "You have to have the courage to play football," and I feel that we don't have that courage.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part, that we are still too shaky, kind of in our build-up. Like, we're afraid that one mistake and we'll get punished for it, and that's kind of what usually happens. And so in that way, we kind of are scared to like take risks, and it's a symptom of our play, as you say, like for the majority of the games as well, like that we've missed while we were away. You would see that even when we are on top, we kind of just put a hand on the handbrake, so to speak, and we are afraid to like really push and really go for it in games. And that was what happened against Benfica as well, over both legs. We are somewhat afraid that the measure of control that we take in these games maybe would be capitalized. There's still that fear, and I think we're sort of playing with a PTSD. It's still in our players' minds, or even in the manager's mind, that any slight miscalculation, any slight mistake can get punished, and that's basically what we saw over these two legs. You would see us like have a few minutes of a good period, and then one mistake, and we put Benfica back into the game, and again we try again to take control, but we can't, and once again Benfica are back into the game, and you wonder like what's going on here. You're right. We need to have that bit more confidence, and maybe this result, without talking about it right now, we'll get into it a bit later. The result from the Benfica game, maybe that will inform how we play in the future as well, because it was, after all, after defeating ourselves and after defeating Benfica, we managed to get back into it, and we managed to get a comeback victory. So maybe that will inform confidence going forwards.
Well, I agree with you, but I feel like, I'm just going through some quotes from Mikel Arteta from the press conference, and he's sort of like along the same lines of, when you give out mistakes, you'll be punished, and rightfully so. But I feel like, okay, fine, we don't have the defense completely sorted out, and that's fair enough. We've got some work to do there, of course, but it's certainly better than it was. And if
Much
your
better.
if your defense is basically, if your goals are conceded through mistakes, I think it's much more easier to be solved than if your defense is shit. So I feel that there is progress there, and I feel that can be rectified over time. But I feel like,
Yes.
especially now, I think we should adopt the Real Madrid model, or the old Real Madrid model, where you score two, we score five. And I feel that this team can do that. It completely can. I mean, if Benfica score the free kick goal and we have scored three goals in the first half, it doesn't matter. If they
Yes.
scored the penalty in the first leg and we were already 4-0 up, it doesn't matter. So I feel like we need to really take advantage. I mean, I was telling you yesterday, we only had 7 shots versus
Yes.
Benfica in the first leg, and that's unacceptable. I'm sorry. I mean, you can't, and that Benfica team was really, really poor. It's really poor. I think we were very trepidatious in how we approached the game, and it almost cost us. And I feel that we need to be able to. We shouldn't be afraid to dominate. I think we shouldn't be afraid to take the game by the scruff of the neck. We're the big team. We're gonna play you off the park, and I feel we can do
Yeah.
that. We just need to have a leap of faith.
Yeah, I think that's the next step now in the Ateta managerial evolution as well, or the players' evolution also. Um, we are starting to see glimpses of what we can do, over the course of the last 2 months, where we've started winning games and some of the wins have been convincing. We can see that there are periods of play that we are on top, and as well from the Benfica game, that's how it is now. It's just the next step of that evolution is now to take those chances, keep taking those chances that we get, create more, and basically just have that bit better control over what we do, over as opposed to what the opponents do. And I feel like in that next stage, we are seeing signs, and hopefully, we made hard work of the Benfica game, and hopefully we can pick up from there. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, yes, you're very right in that domination and creating chances, and it's our weak point. But right now, there was that period when we were still recording over the first, I think, 2-3 months of the season, where we were hardly creating anything at all, and that was the biggest symptom of what we couldn't do. It wasn't our defense; it was what we were doing going forwards. And slowly, we've seen some improvements. We've seen games where we've scored 4 goals. Now, Benfica, we scored 3 goals. It's just now translating that onto a more consistent basis, and I feel like we will get there. And the signs are good, and yeah, maybe we can get into the game now into a bit more detail.
Yeah, let's do that. I want to start with lineups, of course. What did you think about the lineup when it came out?
When the lineup came out, I was actually happy with what we got, considering Holding was away on concussion protocol. Tierney came back into the side, after being away with an injury for around 3 weeks or so. The starting front four or front three, however you want to look at it, was also something I liked. I enjoyed over the previous Benfica game while we were away, on the away leg rather. So that was something, with creators behind Aubameyang. I was really looking forward to seeing what they could do, because we had seen glimpses of what they could do. And of course, Ceballos in midfield over Partey, because as we know, Partey has been injured. So all in all, the lineup, no real quarrels. Maybe I would have wanted to see Pepe come in, but that's what we got, and I was okay with it.
I wonder what's going on with Pepe. Maybe we'll just get into that later. But the game started well. It was, I think, more in terms of the tempo was a bit higher than it was in the first leg, and it was rewarded rather with the first goal of the game. Fantastic bit of creativity from Bukayo Saka into
What a
Aubameyang,
lad.
into fantastic space, and from there, I think you know what he's going to do. He's going to put it in the back of the net. Very good goal all round.
Yeah, very good finish. Very good play from Bukayo Saka. I mean, I have really missed those kinds of passes into the striker like that, you know. So it was a real nice. It was a thing of beauty all the way from the assist to the goal. Everything about it was just spectacular. And by with that goal, we beat the offside trap of Benfica. So I was
Damn
really happy.
offside trap.
Man, those guys are well drilled, man. Like how you know, it was just frustrating to see, you know, like throughout the first game, even at the start before we scored. I think up to the 20th 21st minute we had been offside around 2 or 3 times already, so I was happy that wasn't ruled out for offside.
Yeah, I mean, it was really close, the goal. Both of
Mm,
Aubameyang's goals actually were very close.
yep.
The line, they played, it's a strange way, the way they set up. I mean, they would press, but then the back line would be so deep. And then
Mm,
once the press failed to get the ball, they would then compress
mm,
in the middle of the park. It was so weird and so strange.
mm.
Um, I don't know. I mean,
We
a
tried
better
to play
team,
through.
hmm,
uh,
a better team would have gone through that.
no,
Through that, I feel.
yeah, I mean, I think we really tried, and you know, the nature of Aubameyang as a center forward, he likes to run in behind, and their defense was really well drilled. So, like every time Aubameyang gets a chance, or whether it was Saka or Smith Rowe, anyone was trying to get through, and the passes would be on for them. You know, it's not like we weren't getting to them. It's just every single time we get the balls to them, they just um, you find that they play the offside trap, and it works. It worked rather for majority of the first and second leg, and I don't know. It's just as you say, it's the way they were set up. You know, sort of a deep backline that was always in line. There was no time when I was seeing a defender being dragged out or out of position, or the midfield also as well was kind of well drilled. It was hard to get the passes into channels. Um, Credit to them, you know, they were a well drilled team and made it hard for us. I think they had a game plan and were trying to stick to it. And you know, moment of genius from Saka, and Aubameyang did what he does best, and we got our first goal from that.
What do you think about the period after the goal? I feel that we could have pressed on. I think in my opinion, I think we fell a bit comfortable in the whole
Mm,
situation, that we were in control, and I think we were in control. But I feel that we could have pressed on our advantage. Maybe it was that thing about courage that we're talking about. Oh, we don't want to give the goal away. But I felt that we could have pressed on, probably got a second goal. If we'd have got a second goal, that maybe hampers what Benfica can do in terms of their ambition in the game. But I felt that we sort of rested on our laurels,
mm.
and it cost us in a spectacular fashion.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, like we have this tendency. I feel like we don't really push forwards once we get the first goal. We kind of sit back a bit, you know, trying to measure the opposition, trying to see what they can also do. You know, like we don't want to get too overexcited. There's too much risk aversion from our side still. So yeah, and then they got a chance coming forward, and Ceballos stuck out a leg and gave them a free kick in a dangerous position.
Yeah, I feel that. Sorry, I feel that. I mean, people blame Ceballos for this, but those sort of
you,
they sort of happen, those sort of
Yeah,
tackles and free kicks. You could say it's a bit clumsy, but we've seen so many players do that. So I think those who wanted to blame Ceballos for that are a bit harsh.
yeah,
I would rather credit the goal scorer. Surprisingly, that's his first goal in Benfica. So congratulations to
yeah.
him. A fantastic free kick either way.
Yeah, what a free kick that was. I mean, we were watching the game together and we were just like, okay, wow. What can you do about that? Like, yes, it was a free kick in a dangerous position, but it's not all the time that you'd see someone hit that ball the way Gonçalves did. And yeah, what a goal that was. Leno could not do anything about it.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, those are sort of goals that can happen in games. So
Mm,
I choose not to focus on it
yeah.
because I mean, there's nothing you could have. I mean, you could have done something. Every goal is preventable, but I feel like this is one of those goals that could have happened. And as I said before, if we score 2, 3 goals in the first half and they score the free kick, you'll be like, okay, fine,
Mm,
no clean sheet, but you're not going to beat yourself up about it. And we go into the half
and
1-1. So
mm,
the issue of away goals is scrapped by that point, and
yeah.
yeah, we go into the second half, more or less of what we saw in the second half of the first leg, and this time Benfica go ahead.
Yeah, they made some good substitutions. I believe when this guy Nunez came on for the striker that was there previously, he kind of disrupted our defense. I don't think the guys knew kind of how to deal with him. He was taking our defenders all over the place, and I don't know, maybe that played into their minds a bit because when we had the corner and um, we went, I don't know, I really don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm seeing we have the corner, and all of a sudden the ball has been hoofed forward, and Ceballos, I don't know. Okay, this time for the first goal, I agree with you. You can't really blame Ceballos too much on that. For this this second goal, I have no idea what Ceballos was thinking. He just um, heads the ball into the path of Rafa, and yeah, this time I believe Leno was smart in that he came out, but he didn't touch the player. I think
Mm.
also what had happened to him earlier in the like a few games earlier was in his mind. He didn't want to get red carded as well or do anything rash. So it was actually smart for him to get out of the way, and so that we could still remain 11v11 at least. It would give us a better chance. And Rafa scores a simple goal from basically a gift from
Yeah, I
Ceballos.
would really like to know what was Ceballos' thought process there because
Mm.
yeah, I mean it was strange. I think that was a,
Yeah, it
a
was
s- a
really
really
strange.
strange. Like I'm trying to normally when you look at mistake, oh, he's trying to do
Mhm,
this, it didn't work out,
mm,
okay, fair
yeah,
play. But this one I was like, you're like 40, 50, you're 40 yards away from goal. There's
mm,
no way that header is getting to Leno.
yeah,
You'd rather head it out or head it to Bellerin or head it just, I don't know, just don't head it
yeah.
back to
And
Leno. It was such a
the thing
strange
was,
decision.
yeah, and he was in line with the back line. Like he
Mm.
was really everyone was at the same level as him. So I don't know who he was, whether it was a defender behind, like he thought there's another defender behind him. I don't know how he could think of that because he
I
was basically like one of the last men.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And
He was actually. I mean, he before he put the header.
mm,
He saw everybody. I mean, he had a look around before he actually
mm,
did what he did. So that even makes it even
mm,
more strange, because he had a look around. He knew who was around him,
mm.
and he still did what he did. So I feel that was a
Yeah,
very very poor goal on his part.
Arteta spoke after the game that Ceballos better be very relieved because of like him costing us. Like it at that point, it seemed like another now mountain to climb. So he must have been very relieved as the game went on and seeing us get the winner from Aubameyang, and he should have like properly thanked Aubameyang, you know.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did because I mean that was shocking. And we scored the goal. First of all, we made some very interesting substitutions.
Yes.
um,
We haven't had the pleasure of talking about him in a while.
who?
The elephant in the room that we're about to talk about.
Oh yes, truly enamored by this player.
Mm.
Who did he enter with? I can't remember. There were two. Oh, Thomas Partey.
Like Partey came on as
Partey
well.
and Williams. So I was angry with that substitution, but it sort of descended into laughter because I was like, "What the hell is going on? We're actually we're going to be eliminated by Benfica in one of the most Arsenal ways you could actually think of." And
Yeah,
and fair
at that
play
point
to
we were
William. I
losing.
think he played very well, and I think he contributed towards the goal in terms of his running in behind, and his link up with Cheney was decent enough, and he got an assist. I mean, it's Cheney's goal, but he gets the assist because he's the one who passed to him, and I mean a really
Yeah,
good goal
it's
from
more of
Cheney's
a
part.
statistic thing, like assist.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Cheney again, a clutch moment, clutch player, and he scores a very, very important goal. The timing of well as it was really important. Just a few minutes after they had scored, and that sort of put the game again in the balance. And it was sort of, I mean, Benfica were like, should we attack? Should we defend? And we were like, we definitely need to attack. And the game was a bit more livelier than it was
Yeah.
certainly for the last 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Once we conceded, I think we woke up, if I can use that phrase, and we started now actively pushing forward. And you wonder, like, why don't you do that from the start? You know, now that you're there, like, why don't you play the same at that intensity throughout the game, you know, because it's only after we conceded that we decided, oh, we need to actually do something now, because yeah. And Willian finally remembered how to sprint. He was found by a pass. I don't remember who passed it into him. He finds Tierney. Tierney, of course, does all the work because he sidesteps the defender, smashes the ball back into the back of the net, and what a finish! I have to say, at this point, I really love these guys. You know, Tierney, Saka. You know, these are players for the future, and it's really nice that they're at our club, and especially Tierney, man. I believe that this guy can be a future captain, and he has all the characteristics. There was a point. Uh, there's a video that was going around, and I don't know if you've seen it, where you
I
saw
don't know
it,
what you're
right?
talking
With
about.
Tierney. You're fucking diving cunt, man. I really love this guy, all in all, and yeah, what a goal he scored! Smashes into the back of the net, and we are back on level terms. But of course, with the away goal rule, we still have it all to do. And you're right. Now, there was a measure of do we now go forward from Benfica, or do we just hold on to this lead? Because up to that point, you know, they hadn't really threatened, and all three goals that they had scored up to that point were from us, basically gifts. Or okay, the free kick was just a spectacular finish, fine, but the other goals as well, like they had nothing to offer, so they could have just easily protected that draw at that point, and we had to basically be the ones to push out and, you know, beat them at their offside trap, and kind of get back into it. And Aubameyang, of course, with Saka, who at that point was playing the whole right wing because Bellerin had been subbed off. So Saka was playing the whole right wing by himself.
Do you feel, just to deviate into Saka a little bit, do you feel that his usage in terms of the minutes that he's playing is that good, in the sense that I mean, he's a very fit player. I mean, we've seen how cautious the Arsenal medical team have been, and Mikel Arteta in general, since the Thomas Partey Partygate, as we call it. I mean, it was disastrous the way it was handled. And between that, and do you think that he is probably somebody that we cannot drop and is probably on the verge of getting injured because of, the minutes he's playing? I mean, where do you sit on that?
I'm kind of like on the fence a bit because while he definitely is a really good player and has the potential to definitely be world class. I mean, you can definitely see that from him. And usually those players, you do play them. It's just that you also do have to manage the minutes a bit. At least because he has been playing 90 minutes every single game. He's the player, the outfield player with the most minutes in our team. So I do believe even if he does play every other game, I want him to at least in certain games be subbed off or around the 70th minute, because the boy needs some rest. And maybe also the nature of our team, because we don't have that many chance creators, and Saka being a game changer, like I feel like we are trying to depend on him too much, which shouldn't be the case, but it's also the nature of our team right now that we have that dependence. Maybe that's the wrong word to use on him. And yeah, but I do want to see him rested at some point, because the boy is being overplayed now. He can't be 19 and he is the player with the most minutes in our team. I would like to see him get some rest at some point.
Well, to play devil's advocate, I mean, what if he is truly a world-class player? I mean, Messi was
Yeah,
playing this amount of minutes. I'm not
that's what I'm
saying
saying.
I'm not
Like
saying Saka
Mbappe as
is.
well.
Yeah, Mbappe as well is playing a
Yeah.
decent amount of minutes. But I feel that I
That's
think
why I'm saying
Mhm.
it's the nature of our team, because when you talk about Messi, when he broke out into a really good Barcelona team, and he didn't have to do all that much, like even defensively, offensively, like there was no real added pressure on him to produce. He was just like playing for fun, Same with
yeah.
Mbappe. He broke out into a decent team, the high flying Monaco team of that time, and then he went to PSG, of course, and also there, he had some really good players around him as well.
Mhm.
So while like there's not too much responsibility on him, he just has to play for fun, like he's just going to do what he loves to do. There's no added pressure of lifting the team in crucial moments, like you're the one who's supposed to provide, because in those other with those other players, they were surrounded by other world-class players, and who could also be game changers. In our team, it's just he's bearing so much responsibility, and that's what I'm actually a bit worried about, because he might be world class. He is definitely the highest valued teenager in our league right now, in the Premier League. So yeah, I don't know. Arteta would know best how to manage the situation. But I do feel like he needs some rest, because he has played 90 minutes throughout every single game. Even Aubameyang was subbed off at some point, and Saka stayed on.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
So
look at this in terms of this. We have Leicester on Sunday, and then we have the Europa League game on Thursday. then I think it's Burnley on Sunday, and then the Europa League game on Thursday, and then
No,
Spurs on Sunday. I mean, it's just
the Europa League game is actually March 11th, so we actually don't have a game in midweek this week.
is it?
Yeah, so we
I'm just
actually will
looking at
have
the
a bit of
calendar right
rest
now.
period.
Okay, so we're playing on 28th.
It's
So the first week there's no game midweek.
yeah,
Okay, that's not bad. So he'll definitely
yeah. So
continue to
maybe he
start.
can. Yeah, that's that's Ateta's dilemma now because he is a player he needs right now, and
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know what to say because we can play Pepe in that position, but we know it doesn't work so well on the right because the way Bellerin plays and the way Pepe plays, they occupy somewhat the same spaces because when Bellerin comes forward, he tends to come inside, and when Pepe gets the ball on the touchline, he also wants to come inside. So there's a bit of a what do you call it? They move into each other's spaces, so
yeah,
they
congestion.
don't work. Yeah, they don't work so well together on that right side. Pepe works better on the left because Tierney doesn't come inside as much. Tierney likes to overlap, and that works better for Pepe, and that's why we've been seeing Pepe on the left doing what he does when he's played there. So I don't know. Maybe he will start, but at least I would want him to get rested. Around the 60th, 70th minute. Just take him
Yeah,
off.
well, that will depend on if we create enough chances to have the game beyond the
Yeah,
opposition. I feel that
yeah,
in itself. I mean, just look what happened against Leeds. We score 4 goals, they score two. I mean, because we're Arsenal fans, we feel bad. I mean, we feel like, oh no, here we go again. But in reality, that game was over once we scored the fourth goal. And I think we need to do more
yeah,
of that. Put the game
yeah.
beyond I mean, it's
To
very
bed.
difficult for any team to dominate the whole game. It doesn't happen anymore. I think what we have is you have periods in the game where either of the team are dominant, and you have to, within your period of dominance, you have to take advantage of that. You need to score 2 or 3 goals in those 15, 20 minutes that you're in
Yeah,
control, so that when the other team are in control, you at least have the defensive solidity, which we have been able to show, I think, fairly consistently over the last couple of months. And even if you concede the odd goal here and there, it doesn't really have a bearing on the result. And I feel if we are able to do that, then I think we can be able to rest some of these players, because, as you said, our games are really, really, really close. I mean, just one mistake and it's gone. And I feel
yeah,
it's sort of
yeah,
I was listening to the Arsenal Vision podcast. They were saying it's sort of a characteristic of a mid-table team, where that, like, games are really defined by the really smallest of margins, not just the Premier League in general, but the teams who are the middle part of the table are usually, I mean, they could lose any game and they could win any game, and that is basically decided by what happens in terms of your chance creation. And I feel that's where the good teams and the great teams are. For me, that's, I think, one of the hugest things: the ability to
yeah.
take advantage of situations. And I think we do not do that efficiently.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying, right? Right. I think that's what we've both been saying, that this is now the next stage of our evolution. Like, we need to now take advantage of our dominance in the periods we have in the game. And if we do that and now then control the games better, take our chances, then I do feel like we will be better. Because if you look at, because we're playing Leicester, if you look at the game that we played against them earlier in the season, we were okay somewhat. We just weren't taking advantage of the chances being presented to us. And they get one counter attack. Jamie Vardy, of course, comes back from injury. He plays, he comes in as a substitute, and he's played in and he gets the goal, like, just like that. And we get punished for having not taken advantage, because that's a game I feel like we would have won had we scored even 1 or 2 goals. It changes the complexion of the game, and yeah, it's disappointing because we are not bad. We're just I don't know. It's just we need to do better in terms of going forward, in terms of taking our chances, and that's all there is to it. With the team right now that we have, I feel like we can, and we just need to like we just need to do better in terms of that, and I feel like that's now gonna be where we that's gonna be our platform to rise above what we've been doing the rest of this season at the start.
Speaking about rising, I think Aubameyang not talked about the goal, the goal that actually won it. Good header, again, great cross,
Yeah.
clutch moment, clutch player. He provided the assist for the goal. It's a fantastic ball in. Defenders can't do anything about it, and we scored the goal from it. And sort of people speaking about redemption, about what happened against Olympiacos. I think that's a signal that we've been in the Europa League for too long. We can't be having flashbacks and torment from the Europa League. I think
Yeah.
it's a symptom of where we are. But I think fair credit to Aubameyang. He was heavily criticized against Manchester City, which I thought was unfair. I think any striker in the world would struggle against Man City the way they're playing right now.
Yeah.
And he's actually been in a rich vein of form. If you excuse the misses that he had against Benfica in the first leg, I mean, he scored a hat trick. He scored 2 goals here. So I think he's sort of picking up where he wants to be. And if we want to achieve our targets for this season, he definitely has to be a big part of it.
Yeah, he actually scored 3 goals, but the one was ruled out for offside, which was actually really, really close as well. So yeah, he is in a rich vein of form. He's been doing really well. Now the players are finding him in those positions, and the thing is, it's not just one player who's finding him in the positions he wants to be. There's a whole contingent of players right now who can get him in. Smith Rowe on the left, Tierney with his crosses, who else? Saka, Odegaard, Shaka as well has been playing those passes in between the defense splitting passes. So yeah, and Partey, of course, coming back. Hopefully we get to see him start this weekend. So yeah, we are getting him in really good positions, and definitely it's working out for him. To those who said he is finished unfairly, I think Aubameyang did a good job silencing those critics. Yeah, Saka as well, moment of genius, sidestepping that defender, dipping in that wonderful cross onto the far post. Aubameyang rising up, getting the header down. We haven't seen that since the Pepe assists to Aubameyang once upon a time. And it was nice to see. We got the win after making hard work of it throughout the game, throughout both legs, and we finally got over the hump, and it was enjoyable in the end.
I think so. And in the end, that managed to be the winning goal. We go through. We face Olympiacos next. Surprise, surprise! The Socrates derby. I have dubbed it. I don't know. And then we play the next game in Athens, of course. I don't know where we will play at home.
I do believe that this time we'll play in our appropriate stadiums.
You think so?
Yeah, because if there are no travel restrictions from Greece, because we were just there, right? So I do believe we can play both the proper home game at home and the away game at which is our home now, basically, in Athens.
Yeah, well, we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. I think we should end it there for part 1. We can let's get to part 2 if that's okay with you, unless you've got anything about the game.
No, let's have this break. We can get into part two.
All right, then we will get you in part two after this. Welcome back to part two of the Kenny Goodness podcast. You can find us on our various social media sites on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And we are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So those who have those applications, you're free to listen to us. Right, Ahmed, part two, we have Leicester coming in on Sunday, early kickoff. How are you feeling about that?
To be honest, I'm not really sure how I feel because Leicester in the league, at least they have been playing well. They've been winning their games. They're what, third in the table right now. So yeah, they've been doing better than us, to be fair. And I'm not sure. I feel like it's a game that could go either way. And if we look at the previous game that we played against them earlier in the season, to inform us, I think it could be a tight one. And uh, I want to say we do have a chance. I believe we have a chance. It's just that you never know what Arsenal side will turn up, and it's going to be a tight match and with close margins. So I don't know how to feel about it.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, Leicester a good team. Let's not
Mm,
beat about the bush on it. They beat us, I think, tactically
mm,
at the Emirates. This game, I think it will be more. I don't think they will play this sort of game. I think they will be more front-footed. They'll want to take control of
mm,
the game more.
mm,
But I don't know. That's what I'm. My heart is telling me. My head is telling me they're probably going to
mm,
go to similar what they did to us, because I saw they played against the game where they beat Liverpool 3-1. They sort of had the same thing when they did
mm,
against us, and it worked really, really well. So
mm.
I don't know how it's going to play out, but I think what I do know, it's going to be a very difficult game, and we
Um,
definitely have um, everything against it in terms of it's
yeah.
going to be a tough game. But it's a game that I feel that for those who still hamper hopes via the league route in terms of European qualification, I think that is a
Mm,
game that we definitely have to win.
yeah. Let's talk about it this way. How do you see us approaching the game? Just let's have a focus on our side. Before we get into Leicester and how they are.
I think um, Leicester will limit us space, so that basically
Mm,
rules out Pepe and Martinelli, because I was reading quotes from Mikel Arteta after the game, and if you can just
yeah,
allow me to get them,
yeah.
um, he was talking about that the players basically operate Martinelli and Lacazette basically operate in they best operate in teams that give them space. If there's space to
Mm,
play in behind, which is funny against Benfica, but let's not go into that. Um, and I feel that Leicester will try to limit us as much space as possible. And I also think that Aubameyang will start, so that will also make
mm,
that decision for them. And I feel that
mm,
we will see more of Odegaard and Smith Rowe than we'll see of Martinelli and Pepe. The quotes are here. He says he was asked why he did not bring Pepe Martinelli. He said it's because there wasn't much space to run in behind. It was really tight two lines, the 4-4-1-1 or the 5-3-2 at times. They
mm,
were really, really low block, not much space to run apart from when they set the line around the 18-yard box. We need people to unlock that with special qualities in tight spaces to create movement. And I think Willie was really helpful with that. Willie meaning William. So I think it's more about Smith Rowe, more about Odegaard, and maybe a bit of Willian. Then we'll see maybe less of
um,
Pepe and Martinelli. I think in terms
Actually,
of our forward line, I think that's what
yeah.
we do.
Actually, I think, this is just my opinion. Of course, I do believe that there's merit to what you're saying, but um, I would like to see Pepe start on that left-hand side over and Smith Rowe to go back in the middle over Odegaard because of Pereira. With Pepe there and with Tierney overlapping, we will limit the threat of Pereira because that guy is a marauding fullback and he goes, he terrorizes the left wing. So if we have Pepe and Tierney together on the left, I feel like we can push him back a bit, try to make use of those spaces, limit him going forward because he is a threat going forward. Um, so I don't know. I mean, this is just my opinion. I would like to see Pepe on that left side because of that reason. The issue with running in behind, I feel like with Smith Rowe in the middle, it's not really gonna affect us so much, because the creative players, I think we can, and with Partey, of course, if he does start, I feel like we can take advantage of that midfield and take control of that midfield, and we might have a chance in that regard.
There's merit to what you're saying. I would also like to see Pepe. It's been a while. I think also in terms of just pure rotation, I think Smith Rowe has looked really tired in the last couple of games he's been playing, and I feel that one of the two, I think, between him and Odegaard needs to be
Yep.
rotated out and just have a rest because big couple of games coming, especially in the Europa League. I think I feel we can do with the rest. But then as well, in terms of our league ambitions, this is a very big game, and it's definitely one that needs to win. So there needs to be a balance about it and how we approach the game in terms of our selection, in terms of our approach to the game. And I feel there's ways to go about it, shall we say. I think we have options in that position.
Mm.
It's about the right option and how we're to select on the same.
So midfield, we are set on Partey, Shaka, right?
Would you start him?
Yes, I would. I mean, if you look at the game, I do feel like he is he has been managed quite uh, a bit better. And if you look at the game against Benfica when he came on, he did really well. It's I don't know. I can't really say because we don't see what the guys see on the training pitch and how maybe he's feeling and the medical team as well to inform that. But I feel like if everything is okay, I want him to start.
Yeah. I think we are definitely better with Partey than without him. I think he
Yeah.
elevates our game. He knows when to slow down the game. He knows when to speed up the game. And
Mm.
against a high quality opposition like Leicester, that is essential.
Yeah. Then we move on to the back line. Do you see holding Marie pairing, holding Gabriel, Luis Gabriel? I don't know. How do you see that centre back pairing?
Actually, what I think Luis Gabriel is our first choice pairing in my opinion, and then
Really?
holding Marie is our second pairing option. I feel. I think if everybody's fit, Luis and
Mm,
Gabriel are starting. I think that's what informs my decision. Or my decision, my opinion on the matter rather.
mm.
And I think that's been sort of been shown over the last couple of weeks. I think.
I okay. I
I
would
mean,
actually play holding Marie because of um, purely because of Holding's man marking ability and he usually has this tendency if you observe him in games with teams that play like one striker up top, he usually really stays he manages the striker really well
yeah,
and
but he's
I
had
think it. gonna be.
sorry to butt in, he's had these periods of lapses of concentration against two strikers when he plays. I think we
But
saw with Ollie Watkins, which again
mhm.
cost us the game. We saw it with Raheem Sterling. It
Yeah,
cost
but
us
you
the
can
game.
you can say
I
the same
mean,
thing for Luis with lapses in concentration. So
yeah, I think, but with Luis, he's a defined quantity. I mean, you sort of know what you're going to get with him.
mm,
So I have made my peace with that. And I mean, when Luis is good, he's very good. I think the problem
mm,
comes when he's bad.
mm,
I think with Holding, it's like he's a good squad player. I mean, he's a good player to have in the squad.
mm,
And I think he's good for a couple of games, but I think to rely upon him for a season, I think, especially for a team like us, where we want to be, at least not where we are, I think
mm,
he's somebody who would be best suited as a squad player than a first choice. So, and I think Mikel Arteta sort of realizes this,
mm,
and he started seeing the mistakes creeping into the game. Maybe he thought, okay, he's been playing for months on end, let's give him a rest.
mm,
Then I guess, this is now the turn for Luis now to stake a claim to be the first choice defender. So that's
mm,
why I felt that. That's why in this moment in time, I think David
mm,
Luiz, Gabriel will play. Now, whether they will play over the weekend, I don't know. Are they fit enough to play again over the weekend? If they are, they're going to play. If not, then we're
mm.
going to see Marie Holding for sure.
Okay. Yeah. The rest of the team, I think, with the Tierney Bellerin that picks itself. Arteta might surprise us with Cedric. You never know.
Yeah.
And Leno, of course, in between the sticks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think so. That's the lineup. In terms of approach, I would like us to see a higher intensity than how we played earlier against them.
Mhm.
Trying to take the game to them. Just instead of being another game that we are cautious. That we are afraid of making mistakes. Because we do know that Leicester can hit us on the counter. So I feel like we just need to seize that control and get a few early goals, maybe just one in the first 20 minutes, and control the game, get a second goal. If we do that, I feel like we can get away with something, and maybe all 3 points in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. I think
Mm,
they were still in Athens, I think, yesterday. I think maybe they flew in
yeah,
today.
yeah,
So I don't know. We will have to just see how that actually pans out. And hopefully, I mean, we could be speaking about a win, we could be speaking about a loss.
mm,
We're sort of in that stage and process about where we want to be in terms of our development of the club. So, yeah, I mean, people are looking at this season like we just have to take it game by game, and fairly so.
mm,
But for me, like the Premier League is sort of like dead rubber, but you can't really
mm,
call it dead rubber because they're important games in terms of. I mean, if you play well in the Premier League, you play well in the Europa League. So
mm,
I feel that it's sort of games that we need to. I think I would say focus on our
yeah,
performances and how we build a play, how we control games. And I think for me,
mm,
that's the importance of the Premier League, in my opinion. Not the results sort of secondary. And then in the Europa League, it's the opposite. I think the results are the primary thing. I don't know. That's just me.
yeah.
That's just me.
No, yeah, you're right, and I feel like yeah, you're definitely right. We need to take it game by game in the Premier League. Each the we shouldn't be reading all too much in these games per se, but we want to see um some consistency. Like you don't want to like just give up on the league just because it's a hard road ahead, and focus completely on the Europa League. We are Arsenal after all, and we need to put on a showing, and we need to get the results. results against these teams, because these are the teams we need to be competing against. And so we need to do well, and we need the wins. Right now, our form in the league has been kind of iffy. Despite us getting wins, we still have more losses than wins at this stage of the season. So it kind of informs where we are right now. And we definitely need to do better. And against this opposition, that's where you test yourself, and that's where we need to do well. And I hope we put on a good showing.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope we get the win. Before we finish off here, well, there's some questions here from the listeners, but this one is more it's more general with the league than to do with Arsenal. But I just felt obliged to answer them because I mean we 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 appreciate our listeners, and in case they want our opinions on something, I think they're obliged to get them from us. So I'll ask you this: is there a possibility? Jeff, he asks me, is there a possibility of Man City losing the title race? And what are your thoughts on how the top four will look like by the end of the season?
Okay, with the first one, I don't see with Man City going the way they are right now. They seem to be like an unstoppable force. They're already 10 points clear of second place. So for them to lose that position, to lose the title race, would be a spectacular feat. The way they are right now, I don't see them losing that title race, or losing the first position. They're just a really complete side, and we saw against us, like, despite them not being at their best and just playing at second gear, and we couldn't really hurt them, and they adapted in the game, because I would say, like, in the first half, the game against them, we tried uh, creating chances, and there were moments where we were somewhat getting through them, and in the second half they came out and they had already adapted, and there was nothing else we could do, and we were just being managed. And that's the feature of their games, really. They've become a really, really complete side. You see their defense, they've only conceded 15 goals. They've scored the second highest number of goals in the league. So they're a really complete side, and I don't see them losing that title race. Do you know who scored the most goals in the league right now?
I thought it was
It's
Man
not Man
City.
City.
Well,
It's Man U.
Man United. Yeah, fair enough. I think they've
Yeah.
done really well. So, I mean, they're second in the table.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And with the second question about the top four, um, I would say Man City, obviously. Maybe Manu, Leicester, and one of Chelsea, Liverpool. I'm not sure I see them, although they're doing really well. I'm not seeing them sticking there throughout to the end of the season.
okay, gun to your head. Who gets in? Number 4.
Hmm. Okay, I haven't really watched Chelsea games, but the results are good, so I would say Chelsea.
Really? Over Liverpool?
Over Liverpool, yes.
Big shout.
Because of with Liverpool, it's with the injuries they've had, and I don't know if these guys are gonna come back. Even Henderson has been injured now, season-ending injury. So I don't know. I don't see them. They've had a sort of a scoring drought-ish. They haven't been scoring goals really, and yeah. So I'm not sure I see them going back into top four unless something changes with their team. We can't really talk about the future with indefinite terms.
But I think what we can say for sure, Man City, Man United, and Leicester are going to qualify for the Champions League. But
Yes.
stranger things have happened. Okay. There's a question about FPL. Look, I retired from FPL. It is not a good thing. You don't enjoy football when you play FPL, I feel. I don't know. Anyway, I will just go ahead and ask you. Is Tenny a valuable differential for FPL managers?
You know, okay, with Arsenal, we are strong defensively, so but we concede like the singular goal in games, so that takes away your clean sheet points, and he does well going forward. Although I think he only has 3 assists. I'm not so sure. But I don't know. I wouldn't pick him just because of the clean sheet points. If you're looking for them, while we are strong defensively, we still just concede, one goal, a goal a game, or something like that. So I don't know. And against a team like Leicester, or our next game against Burnley, maybe you can pick him for that. But I don't see. I wouldn't pick him.
Okay, fair enough. I think we should leave it there. We've been going on for quite a bit. Thank you to our listeners for sending in the questions. Thank you to Ahmed for recording. It's been a while, so I think we agree that we have been a bit rusty, all of us. But we've managed to get through it, and hopefully we can continue with the consistency for the next of the season. Hopefully Arsenal can win against Leicester, and we have a decent enough ending to our season.
Yeah, here's hoping to that.
All right, again.
Thanks again for the listeners, and just sorry to cut you off, Omar,
Right.
and just to the listeners, just I hope you guys are taking care. I know times are still not so good with the quarantine period still continuing, Corona still present in our midst. So just I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, making sound choices, sound decisions, yeah. I hope you guys are all well. I know it's been a while, so just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wash your hands, sanitize, keep social distance, wear your mask, please. Please. All right, then. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ahmed.
Yes.
We will catch you on the next one. Go ahead, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.